Okay, so today we're going to look at servicing the machine, and the first part of the machine we'll start with is the battery. And what we need to know is that the battery is fully charged, so we know we've got enough power to the machine. We're using a battery tester here today, but you can use a multimeter and take that through. That'll be checking the battery power. And that's coming through fully healthy battery at 13 volt. Check that through. Then we go to the filtration system of the machine. We'll start with the probe, and you can disconnect the probe at the end on the filter. Take the filter off. This is the probe that goes into the paint, and in the bottom there you'll see a ball bearing. Just checking that that's loose, so it moves, that the paint can be drawn up, and that's obviously clean. Follow that same pipe work through and come to the inline filter. The inline filter here, coming off the probe. Take the top off. Inside is a wire mesh filter. Make sure all the inlets and outlets are clear. Filter clean. And most importantly, inside the filter here is a rubber seal. Must ensure that the rubber seal is there. And so when you close it back up, the most important thing is not to have any air getting into the system at all, because that will just lose your pressure and you'll see air bubbles being pulled in. That way then you would always check that all the fittings and fittings are put fully in, so you're not drawing air into the machine. Following the pipe work through, go over to your spray head at the end of the machine. Disconnect the bayonet fitting. Inside we have another filter. You can see there. Normally on a service we'll definitely change the filter, or a clean filter in. We change the nozzle. The nozzle has a rubber seal there. You put that together, reassemble, and that's your spray head done and clean. Once again, check everything's nice and tight and sealed, and then we'd move on to the pump, which is the most important part of the service. So now we've come on to the pump on the machine. So first thing we need to do is release the pump from the machine so we can work on it to change the check valve into the pump. Disconnect that through. Using your little aid here that comes with the machine, you can push it through, push up, and disconnect the tubes. Take it through. Disconnect the electrics. The pump is then easily removed from the machine. One last tube through there. Then we take the pump to the bench, and we're going to change the check valve on the pump. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the pump, and we're going to remove the check valve in the back and change it for a new one. So we're using a torque screw, it's a T25, gives you the right screws, taking it through as your mic goes along. If you turn the pump over, you can see that the screws come out. And inside the check valve, you'll see 3 small dome pins and the springs. It's the same thing you can see there. So the springs, we're going to change the springs for some new springs. When placing back in, ensure that the dome tip is facing upwards. if you place them in first, then you know you can move on to the check valve. Just using a screwdriver, just gently prise off the check valve. Obviously on a used appliance you'll have paint, it's a good idea to give it a good clean around, or just like this, and you can replace it with a new one. Take that back through. The 6 screws, you've got 3 long ones and 3 shorter ones. Start with the longer screw, run it right through into the base. So we've got 3 longer screws. Gives you a nice tight seal. That's how you change the check valve onto the pump, which is the most hard working and most problematic if on a service if it's not checked and fully cleaned out. Okay, so now we change the check valve on the pump, we're going to reassemble the pump back to the machine. Just put the outlet tube into the pump, making sure it's gone fully in. Get the tube in, push it in, push it in again. Slight twist, ensuring that it's fully whole. Same for the outlet at the back. Push and twist, and you can feel it go fully there. Connect the electric terminals. Fix the pump back to the unit. And that's the full service done. This service was done on a MIDI machine, but all the machines in the range have the same pump, same filtration system, same battery.